everyone, Peter and Geoff here again to chat about Enchanted Wilds on PBE.
Last time we checked in was right ahead of the PBE launch. We're recording this on August 5th, about a week into PBE, and 3 weeks before Enchanted Wilds hits live servers.
Today, we're here to chat about bugs, game feel, gameplay, and macOS support.
We knew we had bugs heading into PBE. That's one of the reasons we go to PBE before live, but reports and feedback from the community have helped us prioritize a ton of work over the next few weeks. We have a lot of work to do before we hit live, and even though we're making progress, the reality is we need to prioritize the biggest pain points and make some decisions about which rough edges we'll need more time to address.
Most feedback we've seen has centered around a few things. Visual quality, often like the game was feeling blurry or looked like a mobile game. Game feel, things that just don't feel like TFT, and some optimization and crash reports. Let's break down that feedback a bit, look at what we've done already, and see what we still have left to do.
On visual quality, this was a big one with a ton of reports. There were a few compounding bugs here, one where resolution scaling was lower than intended across all graphics qualities, about 20 to 25% lower than it should have been. Another where all players had their graphics setting reverted to medium, regardless of your PC quality, and a few other small ones, like health bars rendering incorrectly.
At the time of recording, most of these issues have been fixed, and we'll continue to look into more as they come up. Be sure to check your graphics settings if you're on PBE to make sure they're set correctly. It should be looking a lot sharper now.
Next, game feel. There's a lot that you feel naturally when you're playing TFT, or any game, that you can notice very quickly when it feels wrong. Some good news, we've fixed a bunch here as well, and there's plans to address even more over the next few weeks.
We fixed a couple of bugs preventing players from spamming reroll or purchasing XP early on PBE. We also know that buying units, repositioning, dragging components, and combining items can feel a little delayed. Team planner icons are loading a little slowly in some cases, and players are also dealing with a bug preventing last-second repositioning. These issues can make a roll down or reposition outplay feel way more stressful to pull off successfully, and we're doing our best to make sure they're addressed before players start to climb in ranked on live.
There's a bunch of other issues being tracked, like gold not properly flying to your tactician after a few rounds, some delays when scouting, augment icons looking smaller than they should, and some missing VFX and sound effects that make things feel a little bit less snappy than before. Also, we're going back to our original text font.
We don't have time to go over all of the bugs being tracked and squashed on a daily basis, but like Geoff mentioned, the team is extremely hard at work, but don't expect everything to be fixed right away on live. This migration has been a huge undertaking, and we're working on the most pressing issues impacting players on PBE before we move on to some of the smaller bugs that are just kind of annoying, things we call ear flicks in our line of work. Things like the quality of VFX on loot orbs are an example of that. We're prioritizing game-impacting bugs first, then moving on to those polish issues in later patches.
One of those more pressing issues, though, has been crash reports. We expect plenty of bugs with the migration of this scale, but crashes are the highest priority for our team to resolve quickly. Thanks to bug reports on PBE, we discovered some conflicts with other programs running at the same time as TFT, causing blue screens on some devices. This particular issue should be resolved now, but we'll be staying vigilant as we get closer to live.
Now, let's quickly talk about gameplay. Despite some new bugs related to our migration, like one player hitting Prismatic Destiny into Prismatic Destiny Plus, into another Prismatic Destiny Plus into Hedge Fund, thereby completely destroying TFT's economy forever, feedback on Enchanted Wilds gameplay has been inspiring, and we've been really enjoying watching players explore. We've seen a lot of love for Pebbles, players optimizing one-cost orange quest to print artifacts, the heated rivalry between Kha'Zix and Rengar, and some split opinions on finding the right Lux to cap out your board. We'll be keeping an eye on her to make sure she's driving interesting endgame decisions rather than frustrating randomness.
The team put a ton of work into making sure the trait web was engaging and that Wisps felt fun and clearly came across as a meaningful evolution from Charms. Quality of life changes like getting guaranteed combat Wisps every few shops in the late game should help make it feel like you're able to make more nuanced strategic decisions. As always, balance and bug fix patches are continuing to roll out nearly every day to continue improving the overall gameplay experience. So keep trying out new things and let us know what more you want to see.
Now, on to macOS support. We want to start by saying we're working on bringing native support for macOS back to TFT. When we previously mentioned we were temporarily dropping support, we saw some questions on why we don't just turn on support for the iOS build on macOS devices in the meantime.
While we'd love a solution as simple as that, it's unfortunately just not viable for TFT. There were a lot of issues that would have taken extensive work to repair. We know there's a niche but passionate macOS player base. When we look to support those players, our goal is to make sure we do it right. We can't give an exact estimate yet, but since our team still needs to go through a few steps, after which we'll be working on UI and UX, rendering tech, input support, and a lot of QA. But we're working diligently to bring back native support while Enchanted Wilds is still live.
We know this may sound familiar, but a migration of this scale is a tremendous amount of effort, and we really appreciate all of the feedback, support, bug reports, and even the comments asking us to just fix it.
I mean, that's the plan.
One day at a time. But please, keep sending those reports through. Whether it's on our community Reddit, Discord, or in a comment below, your feedback is incredibly helpful.
Thanks again for all the support. We're going to get back to work, and we'll be seeing you all soon.